Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sherlock Investigations. We're back. It's been a while. Because of that, if there are any issues you see, or you can't hear me clearly, or anything's too loud, please let us know. This overlay and setup has not been used in quite some time, but I'm glad to be back. I'm muted? Oh, I'm muted to you guys. I'm not muted to stream, which is concerning for you guys, but not for stream. Anyways, stream should have heard me. Thank you, Chrissy. I appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a while. I am glad to be back. We have a lot going on. We are going to give you a little insight into what's been happening, but first, let's go around and quickly introduce our players and who they are playing, starting with Hyacinth.
Hiya, I'm Hyacinth, playing Dr. Alabaster Grayson, the half-vampire, druid, blood wizard, cool things.
All right, Dev is next.
Always muted. Always muted. Hey guys, it's me, Dev, and I play the human cleric, Elian.
All right.
Not a hard of a name.
Okay, can we go through this real quick? Can we have a pronunciation reminder? Elian.
No.
Okay, alien. Anyways.
No, don't do that.
Dungeonistics is next.
Hello, I'm Dungeonistics. Tonight I'm going to be playing Baldani, the Tiefling Wizard of Evocation.
All right, next up is Niffer.
Hi everybody, I'm Niffer. I'm going to be playing Afi Kabul. She is a Kalashtar ghost. She is a Lingering Soul class.
All right, and last but not least is Chrissy.
Hello, I will be playing Aurora Talise, our Air Genasi fighter. Rune Knight fighter, if you really want to get specific.
Wonderful. As a reminder, I made a big mistake as a GM, and with an episode of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, gave them a potion that makes you increase in size, and Chrissy can now become very, very large, and I'm scared about it.
I'm so excited for this.
So, let me remove this map cover real quick so you can take a look at our glorious hideout. If you have never watched Sherlock Investigations, it is a campaign based in fantasy Victorian London. I will not be doing a bunch of accents because all the NPCs I happen to play are just, from different countries and everything. Their accents are just where they're from. So, they have been tracking a various amount of monsters and ghouls from out legend and lore, really, with Dracula seeming to lead them all and bringing new ones each and every episode. I will get into the hook for this episode after our players tell us what they have been doing recently, and we're going to go in initiative order for this one, starting with Dungeonistics. And everyone, for this episode, we're going to do a lot of turn order stuff, so much like combat, take your turn on your turn, and then it'll go to the next person. All right, go ahead, Dungeonistics. What has Valdani been up to?
All right, Valdani. She has been kind of perusing the library, the mansion here and there. But mostly she's been going out into town and going into their libraries, seeing what kind of books they have out there, really trying to read up on paranormal instances, paranormal creatures, all of that sort of thing.
All right, great. Next in initiative order is Chrissy.
Yes, so Aurora has been attempting to infiltrate various teas and afternoon teas of people of high society in an attempt to get closer to a man that we only know as the Cardinal. She has been working closely with Blake to do that, as well as crafting sending stones for Blake and William, as well as training with William to better her fighting skills.
All right, great. Hyacinth, you are up.
All right. So Gray is kind of, for the most part, just staying in the library. He probably honestly falls asleep in there most nights, and like because he's afraid to just like go around too much, or like he's made a few mistakes so far, so he's a little like on edge of like what he does and being careful. So he's trying to stick to the books and less to the artifacts, just to be safe and play it safe.
Do you want to mention any of the mistakes you think you may have made?
No, it's fine. Well, I guess the first one was buying a cursed weapon. And then the second one, which was definitely bigger, was inviting Dracula into the house on accident.
I mean,
Which, like, wasn't that intentional. It was attuning to a magic item, which was a bad idea, but...
the item that you call cursed was a very good item. It wasn't cursed, it's counterfeit, but I mean, I think it was still very great. Just saying.
It was fun, but...
I think that item is actually on our Patreon. If not, I will dig it up and post it in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, join it and you will see that when I have a moment. Is that all you've been up to, good old Dr. Gray?
For the most part, he was probably like trying to get into research and things, but like based on like what we've done so far, I feel like he has a lot of like theories that don't fully help because we can't confirm them. So it's a lot of research, not a lot of answers.
All right, great. Next up would be Dev.
Yeah, so Alian has been spending their time back at with their ministry to help with anything related to increased disturbances around London and across touch point on anything that is of interest or any tangent that the VPS may have picked up on that his ministry may have just picked up on, and just kind of fill in the gaps there, see if you can learn anything new.
All right, great. And that leaves good old Niffer playing Offie. What has Offie been up to?
So Offie has been investigating the cause of her own death. As she is a ghost, she convinced our friend Sisyphus to take her back to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde's laboratory, and they together found some evidence and stuff, as well as they brought Offie's body back and buried it in the front yard, which is kind of sad and also gross. But she's not really told anyone that fact. She's mostly keeping to herself and like trying to recreate Hyde's experiments with potions and stuff, not successfully, but probably keeping Gray company in the library a lot. She doesn't need to sleep, so she'll watch over him while he falls asleep there.
All right, wonderful. Those that are new as well, there are previous episodes on YouTube, but to give you a little insight, this is a rotating one-shot style campaign. So the cast changes around pretty often, and in the background, each character is usually doing their own thing or just relaxing in the glorious mansion here if they don't want to do anything extracurricular. So if there's anyone in the chat that is in the mansion that wants to say what they've been doing, go ahead. Al the Biffer's character is forever in the bathtub. So I think that's what his character has been up to until someone asks him to go slay a monster like handsome William does. However, because those things happen, sometimes certain characters pull on just the most perfect of narrative threads, and that's where tonight's episode comes from. So Blake has been also researching the Cardinal, and together Blake and Aurora have the most lead they've had on this figure since they started the search. There's some mentions of a particular ship and a lot of dealings in the shadows. This lead sends them to the night market in Liverpool, and that is where we will be heading. So, is there anything that anyone wants to do before they set off on a train to Liverpool, or, you know, horses or whatever you may be taking?
Before we leave, I think it'd be good if we had a feast to help you. Does anybody object?
Certainly not. Of course, I agree.
I mean, I can't exactly eat, but I mean, I'll watch you. Hi, GM. I'm immune to this hero's feast.
Good to know.
We probably need it more than you. And Alien will take the time to cast Hero's Feast. It'll mostly be comprised of not your favorite foods, but just different fruits and juice. Like, it's literally just like the fruit version of a charcuterie board. It's just fruits, and juice.
Nice.
Optional,
Juice, all the juice.
optional wine and slushies and all the things.
Oh.
Smoothies.
It's just a flight of juice.
A wine juice smoothie.
Those popping like boba things. If you
Oh,
want.
bobas, it's
Yes.
bubble tea. Oh,
The popping ones, not the tapioca. The popping ones.
Yes.
I'm so sad that I
So
can't eat.
this is the part of the episode where we have a history lesson, and I swear popping boba did not exist back then. So are you telling me that Alian invented popping boba in Victorian London?
I think, magic just does its thing, like sometimes there's not an answer for everything.
All right. Well, I will allow it only if you say Alian invented it.
Historians will hate me, but Alien invented it,
All right, cool. Yeah, we
You're
also
a century early. I googled it just now.
we also have Frosted Flakes a little early because of the efforts of magic. So cool.
When there's a want, there's a way.
So mechanically, we can kind of go over mechanical stuff ahead of time if that's what we want to do. So make sure everyone adjusts for the Hero's Feast. Another good note about this episode is it'll be a lot of theater of the mind, and a lot of what happens is decided on the characters. So you get to see how I have to come up with stuff as a GM, which is great fun. Mechanically, is there any other spells or feasts or anything that anyone else needs to do before they leave?
I just have a question. What would be the temporary hit points from the feast?
It's a hit point maximum increase of 9.
Oh.
All
I was
right.
in Ghost.
I think, Aurora, you had something that you wanted to do? I can tell when people go to talk, so. Or did I
I did,
miss
but I
you?
don't remember what it is. Yeah, I did. But that's okay because I don't remember. I probably was probably just gonna say something dumb, so that's fine.
I won a hat at the carnival last time that I would like to give to Valdani.
Thank you. You'll find Valdani in the library at one point.
Yeah, no, we just brought a whole bunch of these random little magical items home from the carnival. I was like, I'm not gonna use these because again, can't wear stuff. But if anybody wants a cool hat or gloves or something, you want it?
Sure.
Perfect.
What does this one do?
I don't know, something about you can talk to plants or animals, summon plants or animals, something.
Oh,
I don't know, not very useful in a city, but we can try.
Valdani's gonna like closely inspect it. Thank you.
I mean, again, I can't wear it, so at least somebody else might be happy with it. That's
All
all.
right. So I did just double check, and a lot of the other major magic items are pinned within the VPS house area, the main area. There are some potions as well, I believe, that have been concocted. There are some potions you took from Dr. Jekyll, and just make sure you keep note of which ones you're bringing along with you. Don't worry about encumbrance or anything like that. Just bring whatever you want. Just know that if you die and your body is stolen, you might lose those items. So
Joke's on you, I stole my body back.
sometimes you're not always as lucky. So before you head off, I will remind everyone that Blake and Aurora have talked to someone who had gotten eyes on the Cardinal for about 16 hours. They have also discovered that it seems like this person is obtaining fresh corpses. The reason currently is unknown. In Victorian times, there was a lot of grave robbing, even by doctors themselves, but this is a little more sinister in the fact that sometimes they don't even make it to the grave before they are stolen. So, is everyone ready to head off to the night market?
Yeah, let's go.
Gray will just be like, are we sure we have to leave? I really think this library is cozy now.
Octasa, I need you to hold the locket. I can't go anywhere without it.
It's not fair of me to keep you here.
Not when I'm getting so good at reading.
Alrighty. Oh, there is Blake in the chat, so everyone thank Blake for the information that started this trail, and then the assisted
Thank you,
effort
Blake.
from the other members in the VPS as well. So here is a picture of the night market. You all take a train and travel. This is where I need some dice. Don't mind the heads behind me. They can't talk anymore, so they won't be any bother. All right. So I need everyone to run at the wall to try to gain entry to the train station. I'm just kidding.
I can pass through
Oh
walls.
gosh.
Terrible joke. All right.
Is that a reference? I didn't get it.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
There
it's
you
a
go.
reference.
not at all.
No, I got it.
All I'm gonna say is trans rights, and you guys
Yeah!
get to the train just fine, and you start your travels. Alrighty. So, is there anything anyone wants to do while on the train?
Are we all like in the same room, or what's the situation for the train?
Yeah, we can, this is good where we established initiative order for things like this. We can kind of go around and say what each person is doing and how they would interact. So we'll start with you, Dungeonistics. Would you be with everyone, or would you seek your own train car?
Valdani would want to be with others. Would respect any wishes for others to kind of be on their own for the train ride, but if they'll have her, she'd be with some of the others.
All right, great. Anything special you want to try to do or look for while on the train?
No, Valdani's gonna have like a small little pocketbook that she'll be kind of flipping through, reading. But no, she looks pretty focused on that or whoever she's with.
All right, great. That means you're up next, Chrissy. What would Aurora go, or what would you like to figure out, or stage is yours?
Yeah, so she would probably put her, plant herself for the most part with everybody else, but would probably do some laps around the cars. Just kind of checking people out, looking for any sort of symbols. I know we had seen some symbols that were relevant to Chrissy the player is forgetting. Aurora the character would not have forgotten.
Yes, I know what you're looking for.
You know which one I'm talking about. Okay, good, because I forgot. My brain said no, thank you, don't remember. And probably just doing that for the most part, like keeping an eye out, making sure people aren't trying to listen in to our car or anything like that.
All right, great. Hyacinth?
I would definitely be staying in the train car and kind of like stuck in his head a little bit, like tapping his foot, a little nervous energy. Definitely like a little less afraid, but still like thinking about things because of magical feast. Definitely helped get him out of the house. But he's just gonna be stuck in his head, maybe a little just on edge.
All right, great. Dev?
Alian was reading a little poetry book called Pretty Little Flowers, and then he knocked the hell out. Like he's just gone, just like asleep, like face like up against the train window until people need him. He's tired.
All right, great. Yeah, as a great note, you are heading to the night market, so you probably set out, just a little bit before sun is setting, so that you can get to Liverpool just in time. It's not really too good to be wandering around in places that you don't know, especially as a group. You might find that though London is, as described, a bastion of hope for all people, and while magic is only allowed in the underground, it is relatively known that there are magic users. The further you get away from that, the little more of a mix of different societies it becomes. That being criminal, high society, and everything else. So that is good to know. You fall asleep. All right, Niffer, what is Afi doing?
Well, Afi has apparently smuggled BCat onto the train. So yeah, no, she, because she is obviously a magical being, she's being very careful to like tuck herself in the far back corner of the car with everybody, like making sure that anybody passing by wouldn't see her ghostly glowing form. And she would mostly be staring out the window because she's never gotten to be on a train before. And so she would just be taking it all in, probably asking questions or trying to do small talk as much as she could, but also kind of seeing the general unease would just be like, okay.
All right. Great. So, as the train pulls away from the station, you hear one last "all aboard" as the steam shoots into the sky and you start chugging along. It is, of course, raining. In this part of the world, it never stops raining. That is an actual fact. It's a little bit chilly. But looking out the window, you do see great sights. It's great to get out of the city, out of the muck. It's really nice to clean your nose of the smell of shit and dirt. That is much like Victorian streets. Magic be damned, they still have not invented flushing toilets because Sir Crapper is not around yet. And yes, that was his name. Anyways, so can you tell I learned new history today that I'm just shoehorning in for fun? All right, so as you get out to the city, you see a lot more greens, and the sun starts to set. You reach Liverpool, and this is a good part where it would have been really great if I looked up facts about Liverpool, but for some reason I forgot that in my preparation, so it's a little less glamorous, and it is still bustling, especially because the famous night market is beginning. A market that happens every weekend and is entirely different than a farmer's market. Some of you may ask, well, what's the difference between a farmer's market and a night market? The night market, anything goes. The bobbies look away at certain meats and things that are sold. There is possibly fenced goods for sale, and everyone just kind of knows it. On the surface, there's not really anything, too dastardly, but you as a group know that lurking somewhere in the market is very obviously something that is. So, one more roll of the dice. What's everyone's AC real quick?
What?
Uh,
How important is that information for you to know?
Well,
11.
I mean, I am the GM, so it's pretty important, but I can look if you want.
18.
Okay.
15 for Aurora.
Okay.
14 for Offie.
I think Dr. Gray is the only one I didn't hear.
I'm muted. 16.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much.
Love
All right.
being a wizard.
So you make it just fine on the train, and you arrive at your destination. That's the good news. The bad news is you basically have nothing more to go off of than somewhere in the night market, this person, the Cardinal, has been doing some very nefarious dealings. You don't have any contacts to meet. You barely even know what this person looks like. Where do you all begin?
Would I know anyone around here, like any kids from before I died?
That's a great question that I wish Turk was around for, seeing as he knows more information about the irregulars and different involved kid groups. Honestly, from as far as I know, unestablished characters, outside of people that might be in similar networks, like some of you have jobs and things like that,
Mhm.
so there might be people that you're semi-connected to because of your jobs, but as far as you don't specifically know anyone here. You've never really had a reason to go to the night market or to learn about it because everything has been provided for you within the city, or Marcus back at the mansion, Sherlock, everything like that. So,
But would I know any kids from like before the mansion? Because I was a street kid with the irregulars too.
yeah, not
Wouldn't know anybody.
Not off the top of your head. It's possible that you could run into someone that
Right.
traveled further. People who live on the streets, wherever opportunity takes them, they might end up here, but
Yeah.
you don't know for certain.
Okay. I'll just be keeping an eye out for kids that I may recognize as a backup.
Okay, cool. That is a good note.
So Aurora would probably kind of step up and kind of scratch her head and say, as much as I would hate to split us up, I think maybe just two groups of us doing a lap and meeting back here in a little bit, seeing what we can find throughout, keeping an eye out for any insignia of the Cardinal or any of the groups. And Aurora, the character, will explain the insignia that Chrissy, the player, can't remember. That,
Are you talking about the good insignia or the bad insignia?
the bad one.
Okay, do you remember where you saw it last?
Cool.
Is it
No.
is it on a certain ring?
Yes.
Okay,
And
cool.
okay. All right. I was gonna say it was on a ring, and I think that's. I want to say that Blake ? Or somebody, Sisyphus, maybe I don't remember. Somebody described it also when they removed the eyeball
Mm-hmm.
and saw it
Right.
in that. They had described it, but I don't remember what they described.
If you
Yeah,
go
we
to
found it on the ring in the
if you
eyeball.
go to the handouts and you look at image of the eye, that should have the ring and the insignia on it.
Yeah, so I just showed it to players as well. So here's the insignia that you're looking for. I think I described it different than what's on this actual image. But apologies, everyone. It's been a while. We've been on hiatus. So I know exactly what you're looking for, though. So you're keeping an eye out for this specific symbol, correct?
Yes. Yeah. And any note of and telling obviously everyone else who is there, maybe just keep an eye out for other magic users, ones we might recognize, people we might have seen, anything that might, I don't know, trigger something to follow or a lead of any type.
Should I send her around just to separate from us and keep an eye out for weird things? I don't really know what to look for, but any extra eyes I feel like might be good.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine, I think. I think maybe we would cover more ground and not look as suspicious if we were all traveling in a large group. But obviously not going too far from one another so that we're within shouting distance.
If I get to a corner, I can cast away from view. What's the name of that spell? Detect evil and good? I can detect undead near me. Pick up on any allies.
On that note, can everyone roll a perception check real quick?
I can, but it's terrible.
Oh, is it sunny out?
No.
No, it's
Then
nighttime.
I have a 26, not a 12,
Okay.
because that was the first roll.
Okay.
It just automatically did it with disadvantage because I'm a vampire, I guess.
Yeah. Anyone above a 10 basically is thinking what you're saying, and something comes to mind. Offie is kind of,
I imagine
No.
I'm riding along with one of the others, so I'm not the best at looking right now.
yeah, you're kind of just taking in the scenery. There's so many people around. It's like shouting, there's people haggling. Get your animal skins over here. Get your animal skins
Yeah.
over here. And then, someone cuts in with health potions, half off health potions. They don't taste bitter like everybody else's, I promise.
But
And so,
do they have boba in them?
of course, all health potions
Yay.
have boba, don't you know? They don't have
Yay.
popping boba, though, because
Oh,
we have not mass distributed Alien's invention yet. Anyways, everyone with above a 10, you realize things in one way seem a little more lax here, and that being you feel like, don't know for certain, but feel like you could get away with casting a little spell here and there more so than within the city limits of London. So
with that, I'm just gonna unstrap my messenger bag and let my little Sphinx cat just run around. And not Sphinx like furless, but like Sphinx like that creature, right? But like more a little more cat-like, and just let him run around and do some little spying, see if he sees anything weird,
Okay.
just around the area.
Cool.
Liam will cast Detect Evil and Good. See if we can pick up on any undead fiends.
Yeah,
flying around.
can you drop the description for me in chat so I make sure I don't... I'm pretty certain what your answer is going to be, but I want to make sure I don't lead you astray. So while you are dropping the full description, what groups are you guys wanting to split into? Do you want me to just split initiative in half?
Sure.
All right.
Offie would like hop along and inhabit whoever is going with her with consent.
All right, great. I forgot that the group is uneven, so
It's sort of not, because we can do 2 real and 2 real and then Offie.
two
goes.
real and 2 real.
Yep.
Offie's not
Two-
real.
2 tangible people and 2 tangible people, and a ghost can just haunt one of them.
You said I had to
Okay.
carry your amulet, so I would just assume you were with me.
So I'm.
All right,
I
okay.
mean, your eyeball's cool.
This is what this is what we'll do. Hyacinth and Niffer, you are together, and Dungeonistics, Chrissy, and Dev, you are together. If you at any point need to, swap in and out as you guys are walking through, one person joins the other group, whatever, it's fine. Just so I know for calling on each of you. All right, so if there are any aberrations, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead. Ooh.
There is at least one undead.
30 feet.
Is it you or me?
It's me.
30 feet. Yeah,
Plus, any other things like evil grounds.
Yeah, so you cast this, and this like just strikes fear into you suddenly, as somehow 30 feet below you, you sense a great undead presence.
I'm immune to fear, but I'm fearful right now. I love it.
Yes. You're very courageous to push through, and you don't lose anything mechanically, but you are concerned.
I share the information with Aurora as we are separated from the others.
So as you say that, can you sense by any chance where it's centered? Or just the whole damn place?
I don't know. I would have to walk around some more. It's just
So
below.
if you look at the spell, you would know that there are certain things that block it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you are not on stone. You are still in the dirt before the stone starts for the whole pavilion for the night market.
Oh, there's stone. Okay. I would lose connection if I move forward, but there is something below.
So we find the underground in Liverpool? Or we find a cemetery?
If it connects here, there has to be an entrance through here.
That could be something we could also look out for while walking. Keeping an eye out for any sign of the underground. But also it seems pretty open here as far as magic conserves. So I suppose we could still do a lap or two and come back to this spot. This is where we said to meet anyways after doing a lap.
Yeah, I have about A few more minutes. I'm okay.
And we will add to the list, keeping an eye out for anything having to do with the underground here as well, or some sort of entrance to a sewer.
Okay. So when you're looking for entrances to the sewer, you're looking for the good symbol.
Yes, correct. Yes.
All right. So now you are looking for both bad and good symbols. All right. So I understand what that group is doing, but Valdani, within that group, is there anything specific that you are doing or reacting to based on the information they just talked about?
Valdani isn't as like up to date on all of this Cardinal stuff because she hasn't been doing the research into it. So she's just gonna be kind of doing anything that they need her to do. So looking out for those specific symbols, entrances to the sewer, kind of thing.
Okay, great.
I'm looking through my spells right now to see if there's anything I can do, but I'm not seeing anything yet.
We would catch her up and inform her that Dracula and his friends, for lack of better verbiage, they mean harm to the realm, and so we're trying to track his right-hand man, who is another vampire named the Cardinal. And they have taken children, and people have been missing, and we're trying to track them down.
I see. How terrible.
Even the spawn are really powerful. Aurora can attest. We were there. So we can only imagine what we're up against. So stay vigilant.
Of course. So I'm looking for these symbols, right?
This one is for the underground, and this one is the symbol specifically for the inner party of the Cardinal.
All right. I understand. So yeah, Valdani is going to be just on the lookout for those symbols, more towards the Cardinal symbol, but looking for both of them nonetheless.
Okay, great. Yep. And as a reminder, you will know the bad symbol as the Order of the Dragon symbol. So.
Of course.
I think a couple members have done specific research into the Order of the Dragon. There's basically very little known about it currently. But that's where you're at. That's what the symbol is. So that's what that group is doing. Hyacinth and Niffer, Offie and Dr. Gray, what are you guys doing?
I guess we just split off, and I'm actually gonna cast Enhance Ability Owl's Wisdom on myself, just as we're looking around, just to make sure I can do the best I can to pick up any clues or anything. And I guess I'll knowing what we know, kind of look for kind of traces of specifically hints of a vampire being around, more so than just anything else, or just looking for anything weird, because I know that's pretty generic, but I'm gonna try to look for vampiric things or hints.
So I mean, you are half vampire, correct?
Yes.
You know the symbol to look out for, which is vampiric in nature, but what else would your character specifically be looking for that they think is vampiric?
I guess there would be the hints of seeing someone who's a vampire, so maybe the paler skin, or catching a flash of teeth. He would just be a little bit more attuned to looking for it, trying to pay attention to all those little details, or people, I guess just people being extra shady could be something, or a little bit of blood that's just on someone's clothes, or is a sign of feeding maybe, or just all those little details that could lead up to something. And then he would also send just Sir off in a different direction, just to like slip through the crowd and like be an extra set of eyes. And like his search is gonna be more like detailed than Sir's, but
Okay. Cool. And Afi in that situation?
She would start kind of like accompanying Gray, like haunting him so that they're kind of using the same set of eyes, but then just kind of get an idea of like maybe a bird's eye view would help because she has recently gained a fly speed. So she is going to use one of her uses of casting invisibility on herself.
I was just going to ask, are you going to be a ghost flying through the market?
She is going to be a ghost invisibly flying through the market, kind of just like floating above just to see, like, we're looking for entrances to us, like Liverpool's underground, maybe? So just look for like doors that don't light, like buildings that are wider than they appear from the front, or like, you know, secret alleys that you can't get through, or like things like that, and just see, is there anything off about the layout of a city? And she would, like, she's an urchin, she would know how secret entrances work in a city.
All right, great. All right, so back to group one. While you're still out searching for all these things, you are in a market. There's lots to see, lots to do. While you're looking for good and bad symbols, are you specifically only looking for that? Or are you doing anything else within the context of the market?
I mean, Aurora would definitely not be wanting to draw too much attention to herself or the others, so she's definitely going to be stopping at different stalls, picking up little trinkets.
Inspiration.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
That is a good note, and yes, you don't want to just be, you know, honed into something and just looking for something and not interacting at all. So you pick up right away on doing that and start to kind of blend in a little more. So I interrupted you to give you inspiration, but what exactly would you like to interact with?
Well, Aurora is kind of in the same vein at the last market that her and Alian went to. I actually believe that Valdani was also there, and go to the sketchiest looking tent on the way, like stopping and looking at other things, maybe buying an apple or like whatever on the way, but definitely looking for, to her, not having the best charisma, go to interact with to who she believes looks like the sketchiest beef jerky dealer.
Cool. I was gonna ask for that last part. Are you looking for the sketchiest meat dealer? So, yeah.
Do they have meat ladders?
Do they have meat ladders? They could make you one. They could make you one. So
Excellent.
As you're searching and looking for this specifically, Aurora kind of leads the way for this group, and I assume you guys pick up on, like, you know, the body language, how Aurora is interacting, and you think, oh yeah, we need to look the part, and so you follow. So you find yourself at a meat stand with, you know, fresh meats and a lot of beef jerky as well. And it has some kind of the same font and coloring as the other one from London. And it looks a similar layout, and, you know, it feels pretty familiar. A different looking man comes from behind the counter. Oh, hello! What can I help you with today?
I've become quite a fan of beef jerky recently. Just wondering what you have in stock.
Oh, what do I have in stock? I have just about everything you could wish for. Cow, pig, lamb, rat if you're really into it. Got a lot of rat these days, what I'm telling you, man. But, there's been some scares in other parts of the country, so not many people really want to be eating rats very often, but I got them. Have you ever been to one of our establishments before?
I am a frequent patron of the one in London.
Oh, that's my great cousin's shop. Oh, so what has he sold you before?
Well, I've had some lovely flying creatures. I am a fan of the things that take flight. And she's saying this knowing that she's lying out of her teeth. So if there's anything you need me to check on this, she's 100% just trying to grit herself through this.
Oh, great. So you're a fan of our more specific and hard to find meats, is what you're saying.
I like to call them exotic.
Yeah, that's a good word. Well, follow me, everyone. Come in here. Come under the canopy, please. And he'll usher the three of you in, and he'll kick the side of the wooden booth, and a whole row of drawers will pop out with different various meats, and he'll be like, all right. Look around for a second, but really not too much because this is the night market. Well, I got this row here. We call it the Toby. This is your general, how do I say, of the lizard variety. And the one below it, of course, is the flying creatures that you've talked about. All ethically sourced, I promise. Ethically sourced.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not in the business of going out and, doing bad things to people, but some people have a certain palate, ethically sourced. I got you. We do have on the bottom shelf something very hard to come by. The sound when you chew it is kind of like a click-clack. It's turtle.
Oh, wow.
Sheer amount of Easter eggs that just went into that whole scene.
Yeah. Aurora's gonna kind of look, she's gonna bend down as though she's very interested. I think I'm gonna stick with my regular stuff. Valdani, Elian, do you want to give anything a try? I would suggest the Copra, I think is how you say it. The gentleman at the stand, he can help me say it correctly.
Yeah, you got it.
And as that's happening, she's just gonna kind of point to one and just in her head is cringing.
All right, great.
I'll have to kindly pass. Thank you very much, though.
I'll give you a 2-for-1 special. It is the night market. We're out here making deals. What about you, fine young lad? I believe they said your name was Elian in passing. So very interesting name. What can I source for you?
I don't eat meat.
Now that is unheard of. Are you sure?
Just do I look like I eat meat?
I have fish.
Fish is disgusting.
Well, you said you don't eat meat. What else do you eat?
Ants.
Ants? That wouldn't make very good jerky.
Plants.
Plants. So grass and stuff, or what?
Yeah.
Okay, and he'll write some notes in his book. Grass jerky.
You got any mysterious fruit?
Oh, no, that wouldn't be me. sourcing fruit and sourcing ethically sourced beef jerky are much different. But there is a stand just a little down there that you can probably check out. They have something called a horned melon. I don't know. It's a devilish thing, really.
Just straight face, just
Well, Donnie's right there.
just like slowly like shifts away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Just
I'm so sorry. No,
slowly
it is the name of the melon. I swear. I am not passing judgment. And he'll kind of like tip his hat, and he has like one broken horn himself.
Yeah, Valdana just kind of has like the pursed lips.
He is not a tiefling, but not really something that you're familiar with. But he does have a weird horn for some reason. And
Alright.
that is as much as you know currently. Oh well, I'll bag this up for you here.
Yeah.
Sure. I can't interest you in anything else.
No, I do have some questions. Any heads up? I've heard that kids and people have been kind of like body snatched in the night.
Oh, it wasn't me. I told you. Ethically
No,
sourced.
yeah. Listen, I'm here for the jerky. I'm not here to accuse. Just asking, mostly around these parts. If there's anyone else I could talk to about it.
Are you wanting jerky out of children? What are you asking me?
No, definitely not wanting kid jerky at all.
Whew, sounds a little above me, I gotta say.
Yeah. But I do hear rumblings, and we had heard rumblings that bodies were going missing.
So you're not accusing me. You just want
Not
to
at
know
all.
more about it.
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, what's it worth to you?
She will turn and look to Alian and Valdani and turn back to him and go, well, I have a little bit of gold I could offer, as well as, continuing patronage.
Oh, yes, business is everything. All right, hand me over your 1 gold. I'll tell you what I know.
I will hand him 2 gold.
Oh, thank you. A tip, I love it. And he kind of hits the side of the stand again, and all the more exotic beef jerkies slide back up, and he kind of lowers down a little, and he's not as boisterous, and he says, well, the way that I've heard it is there's something going on underneath, right below our feet, and I've never seen it myself, or know where or how there would be things crawling underneath us, but things have been strange for a good couple months, and the graves, we're used to them being dug from the top, no problem. Well, I mean, it is a problem, but what are you gonna do? Doctors, students, they need to study, of course, but graves have been sinking from the bottom, like a sinkhole. I don't know. It's strange, but that's about all I know.
Where's the nearest cemetery?
Oh, official or what?
Where the holes are.
I mean, bodies are buried everywhere, friend.
The ones you know about.
I mean, I don't bury my bodies. Yes, they Yeah. Just head to that tent down there, make a left, and go out of the market a little bit. And there's no street lamps. Those new things that they started installing out that way. Just follow the creepy mist and whatnot, and you'll find the cemetery.
Puts down an extra gold. You should really think about investing in fried fruits. Dried fruits, not fried.
Well, I mean, fried and dried. I mean, sounds pretty great. I'll have to have a talk with Piotr, the fruit guy, and maybe we can do some cross business promotion. It's a great idea. Thank you.
That's a weird name. And he walks away.
Okay.
Valdani's just gonna kind of nod her head, turn on the heel, and walk away.
Nice to meet you. My name's Helvish, by the way. Thanks for not asking.
Well, as Aurora would not, as they walk out, she would reach out a hand and go, Aurora Talise, wonderful to meet you. Sorry about that. Also, I'll pass on tidings to your great cousin.
Oh, yes.
What? Any messages? Anything you want me to tell him?
Yeah. Tell him I'm outselling him 2-1. He's got to keep it up. Pick up the pace, or I'm going to put him out of business. I'll move my shop over to where his is. He's got all the good foot traffic.
This is true. He's got a good spot there in London. I'll see you around. And she will, with the stick of jerky, just kind of like give it one of these and turn and walk out.
All right. He'll start heading back on to work, tidying up the shop and everything. Now we will quickly flop over to Offie and Dr. Gray. Same thing, you guys are, looking around, still searching for the symbols, but what are you doing or looking for within the market?
I guess I'm gonna just not really knowing much about markets. I'm gonna be like, what makes it night? Like, is there something weird they normally sell? And I'm gonna look for just a stand that I wouldn't expect.
Do you say that out loud?
No, I say it to Offie. I'm just
Well, I'm
what defines them?
I'm flying above you, and I'm invisible.
The telepathic's not because I'm wearing it when you're in me, right?
Right. Also, we
Okay.
can be telepathic if you can see me. So I can talk to you, but you cannot talk back right now because
Okay.
I can see you.
Well, to answer your question as you say it out loud,
What makes it
someone
night?
walks past. Well, it's at night, of course. What did you think? And they just walk past.
Oh, well, I guess that does make sense.
Is there anything large scale off that I can see from being flying? Can I see more buildings collapsed, or do I see any sunken graves from up here?
Yeah. So go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
Hello. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know my perception. 21. I rolled an 18.
Great. So, you don't really have the information of the other group yet, but you're kind of flying around looking for things out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I know what does belong in a night market. What doesn't?
Invisible as well, you kind of see more than the average person. Very obvious shady deals going on between booths. You see hooded figures, slipping in and out. If you were looking for one specific shady person, you'd have a hard time because there's a lot. But after a while, you kind of, flying in and out of the market and around, you see what looks like a river heading a certain way, but there's no water, and it's very weirdly placed. It's just like sunken ground in a line that seems to lead out to what you think might be a cemetery.
I will leave a voicemail in Gray's head of, hey, I found this thing. And then I'm going to just float over it.
All right, great. Dr. Gray, is there anything you are doing to blend in before you get this message?
I think I'm gonna try to like stick to the more populated areas, so like it's harder to like notice one person or anything out of place, or like me being out of place. And I'm also, I believe, going to kind of go to a populated place and just like purposely be in an area full of people and like look for people trying to not be noticed, or just like, you know, use that to look at all the people to try to get hints of like, I'm like people assessing instead of like item assessing.
Okay, cool. All right, I will make note of that. We're going to popcorn around a little bit here. We're going to go to Alian. Wanted to make sure, are you going to look at the fruit stand, or are you checking out something else, Alian?
Pick up a horned melon, just the usual. Gotta get my stuff. Gotta get my rare inventory in. Can't always get that. Marcus, just can't get that for me, so.
Yes. As you purchase the horned melon, the seller, Piotr, looks at you and he's like,
are you serious? That's the one? They're there.
He's like, do you know how to prepare that?
I mean, yes.
Oh, great. I don't know how, and I have such a hard time selling them. What do you use it for?
Sometimes I just like fuck around and find out, if I'm honest. But like usually like smoothies, like like cut the seeds so I can like examine them more. I like to plant stuff. Sometimes.
How do you even cut that thing? Like, I cut one in half and it's just so weird.
My friend has a sword, so like she's like really good.
Well, how do you put it in a smoothie?
So, you see, they're back in London. There's this place that they grind really fast, and it makes it into juice.
I know how to make a smoothie, but do you just throw the whole thing in, or what?
No, because then you have the leaves, and the leaves are not always good to drink. You're so silly.
There's no leaves on a horned melon.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm just like trying to like just fuck around.
Have you never had
yes and too hard?
Have you never?
Let me actually look up a horned melon.
I was just gonna say, I know what they look like, and
Oh,
I'm
this is
like
weird.
watching. I'm listening to you and thinking like, what are you saying?
I'm like, Ashley, what are you doing?
Clearly, he doesn't know everything about fruits. This is one of them.
Yeah. Cool. No worries. I was gonna say he gives you a discount if you give him an actual use for the horned melon, but I don't think you're able to.
No.
Unless you want to try to history your way out of it, because this is D&D. But if not, he just gives it to you for normal price.
I do think there are some things, even about fruits, that he doesn't know.
All right. Is there anything else actually more important? Not that fruits aren't important. They're very important. But before I check in with the next person, is there anything else you want to specifically do, Alian?
I want a sleight of hand steal another one.
Okay. Go ahead and
They're
roll.
quite big.
Roll your sleight of hand.
12.
Oh, I rolled so much higher, and I could be such a mean DM. But for the sake of the narrative,
It's okay. If he gets mad, I say, Fine, and I give like 3 gold.
Yeah, he slaps your hand for a moment, and then you give him 3 gold, and he's like, don't try that again. And he'll take it and pocket it now that you've paid like 400% over the price of one horned melon.
I mean, don't want him to be mad at me, you know?
We will let it
Insurance.
slide. All right, so last of the group that I don't think we've seen specifically what you want to do is Valdani. How are you blending in, and outside of looking for the symbols, what do you want to do?
Valdani is gonna be looking for any interesting books or stories that people are selling. She's not too picky with it. Really on the lookout for anything paranormal in nature, but will kind of take anything she can get her hands on. She just wants a good book to read.
All right, great. Any so you're looking for a book. Let's see here. All right, I will note that down and we will see what you find. So, as you are all traveling, getting jerky and getting fruits, hearing this weird story about sinking earth, and Offie is flying in the sky and sees very strange looking river. Based on what you guys have been doing, you all start to magically head back the same way. It's not very often that a group splits up and by their own natural occurrences perfectly work their way back together.
We're just built different.
We're just built different.
Damn, I hate that.
All right, so before you meet back up though, I will say that this is a good time to take a quick break.
Perfect.
All right, everyone, we're going to go on a quick 5-minute or so break, and we will be right back after these messages from not our sponsors.
Woo!
All right, hello everybody, we are back. Hope you enjoyed the glorious lobby music and are now enjoying the city music, which I think are different if I remember correctly, set them up right. We are back with Sherlock Investigations. Our crew is in the night market where pretty quickly they found a good lead in what to look for. Don't really know what is happening, but they know that bodies are being sucked out of graves from below instead of above. And they are all heading towards a cemetery right now, basically. Before they get to the cemetery, Valdani, you are looking for a book, and I am going to show that book to everyone real quick.
Excellent! Ooh, what is this?
So this is a nice, rare copy of Le Fable. Actually don't know how to say Desope, because it doesn't have an accent on the last E, I think. It's Aesop Fables in French. So.
Oh. All right, yeah. Valdani will take that, definitely.
So, yeah, you find a nice little bookshop, and it's one that definitely stands out to you. Not technically, paranormal, but there are some interesting stories within that, are myth, legend, and fables, of course. I took 3.5 years of French, so I forgot all of it. So if I pronounced any of that wrong, don't come at me. But
this is just an opportunity for Duolingo to sponsor TBK Roleplay.
So that the owl can yell at us repeatedly and
yes,
find us in our
Spanish or vanish.
All right. So, that being said, you are all heading out towards the cemetery. And after you do any extra dealings in the night market, you kind of have one of those very perfect movie type meetups where you come together like, oh, hey, you're here, we're here. But I do want to say this is a good point, and we won't role play it out or anything because we already did kind of that part of shopping. But for everyone in this episode and everyone in the VPS in general, if you keep track of the total amount of gold and your personal gold, this is a good chance for you to buy different items that might not have been accessible in London. So start thinking about what kind of item your character needs, and if you have the money to do it. For the audience, I think 2 or 3 episodes ago, they found themselves in the tomb of a mummy, and they left behind like 4,000 gold. So I tried to give them a bunch of gold.
Okay, hang on. We left behind 4,000 cursed, haunted gold. And some of us aren't about that life.
Listen, I never said it was cursed.
Listen, you had people rolling dice to see if they were going to be. I know.
And nothing happens to them. They're fine.
Like I always say, coal gonna coal.
They're fine.
Coal's gonna coal.
Nothing happened to them. Anyways, so just keep note of that. We'll go over that in downtime and whatnot if there's anything that you wanted to buy while at the night market. I'm not going to move past that part, but just narratively, we're going to go on to the next scene. So you find that book. Let me come back here. And you head towards the cemetery. As you all convene on the cemetery, Afi, you follow that weird river that comes and it leads straight to the cemetery. And everyone else, you kind of walk there naturally from different information you've gathered throughout the night market. As you all arrive in the same place, what do you say or do?
So Aurora would definitely tell everybody about the conversation and the explanation on how the bodies are disappearing from below rather than being dug up from the top of the grave. She would also explain that Alian definitely doesn't know what he's doing with fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just like call me out like that.
Well, don't you just juice it?
I am the only one in this party who can find undead.
This is just a minor hill to get over. You'll learn how to do it. I believe in you.
On our side of things, I was... sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the fruit conversation. No,
it's not.
So I just want to address the elephant in the room here. Don't take any of this out of context. We're not trying to be mean to anyone. We're talking about horned melons. Legitimately. All right. Anyways, continue.
I was looking for traces of vampires, which I couldn't find anything. So clearly, this is some sort of trained, like, clean operation. There's no stragglers or new fresh turns or anything, because those usually leave a mess, and I couldn't find any thing in the market.
Well, I mean, I could. I think I'm the only one who can. While you can detect magic, I can detect the presence of undead. So, and evil ground, consecrated ground. So, and if it's happening here, then I'll pop another one. I'll detect evil and good.
Pop a horned melon.
Pop another.
No, he's popping the boba right now.
I'm so. Oh, you're so lucky I didn't prepare banishment today. or harm.
So
There's a spell called Harm.
yeah, there is.
Oh my
It's
god.
it's like the opposite of heal. So yeah, I'll pop off another detect evil and good to see if I feel more evilness, undeadness.
Okay, where?
Still at least one.
Where exactly do you feel like you stand to cast that?
I would look for obviously if this is context. Is this graveyard one that's just like one of the less maintenance kinds, or is it a pretty it's a a little bit more nicer and upkeep?
I would say it's kind of like it's beautiful, but more kind of like a gothic style beauty. So
Because we followed the river, I would probably do it where the river is adjacent, right adjacent to where the graveyard starts, because maybe there's a connection to that some way somehow in relation to the night market, and I'll cut diagonally, because eventually that probably would cover a lot more ground with a 30-foot radius than trying to just go zigzagging.
Okay, so as a note, I believe Afi is the only one currently who has noticed the river. So how do you want to explain that to everyone as you arrive, Afi?
So I'm choosing to still be invisible because I kind of like moving about freely. And so they will kind of all convene, and then I'll swoop down and just be like, so hi, I'm invisible, by the way. No, it's fine.
Oh,
It's me, it's fine. I've been practicing ways up high and stuff, and so I can kind of get up there
Quite useful.
and stuff. And so I noticed that there was kind of a dried up creek and stuff. So I don't know why it would be there, but it is. There used to be a river, but then
Lead me to it.
well, yeah, it's right here. I came from it, but you can't see me. Never mind.
So this is a very specific question I have to ask. Where do you plant your feet to cast it?
I don't like that specific question.
I mean, obviously graveyards are mostly ground until you step onto certain places. Depending on the person, how they decorate it. It could be stone, it could be anything else. But it would be on the ground.
Okay. More specific.
In the dead river or not?
Yes,
I think is what he wants to know.
In the river, on top of a grave, on a undug patch of soil, on the path leading to the cemetery. Where would you like to stand while you cast this?
Why not all the above? It's 10 minutes.
Okay.
So let's start with the river.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no.
The creek.
You walk over to it and you realize it's very strange. It does not look like a river. It does not look like a riverbed. Rivers, you can usually tell that the water has kind of carved through the land. This looks like just a weird sinking style of ground for some reason, and as you stand on top of it, you cast the spell, and right below your feet you feel just a bunch of pings.
Yep. All the evil.
So at this moment, you guys are all standing here. You're kind of checking out the cemetery, and you're standing in different places, things like that. And in the mist, you see a figure walking from the other end of the cemetery towards you. And a lot of you, meaning all of you, will recognize this person right away. And unfortunately, someone was not able to be here for today, as they are on vacation in, I don't know, with their parents or something, something important. But Sherlock walks up to you, and this is where I say I'm not going to try to do the great accent that Turk does, but shout out to Turk for usually playing Sherlock in this campaign. As he walks up to you and he lets out one last puff of his pipe, cleans it a little bit and puts it away. Oh, well, seems as though our paths have found themselves at the same ending as each other, which means you're getting wrapped up in the same things I've been studying for a couple months now. I don't honestly know how to feel about that.
Two things, Sherlock. One, transparency. Where the hell have you been? We haven't seen you in the longest time. If we knew about this, we could have crossed paths a lot sooner. And two, I feel very bad energy right below my feet. There is lots of undead energy.
Yeah, it honestly doesn't take magic to feel the sense of dread in this area. And I do apologize. I know I've been out a lot, and I've been looking into certain occurrences across the land, and I've been hoping that the Victorian Paranormal Society could simply deal with minor matters plaguing the city, a poltergeist here, some weird bugs there, maybe a cupboard goblin, what have you. But I'm afraid everything is spilling beyond even my reach. Blake. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Gray.
Honestly, that didn't last for very long. Maybe two missions, there was little things, and then it all built up so rapidly.
Yeah, what do you mean we were supposed to do little stuff? All I've ever seen is big scary stuff.
Yes.
Yes, one of my first missions was a big bloated man. Quite horrendous.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes, sir, but if we work with you, why is you surprised that we're here looking for stuff when you're looking for stuff?
So very good questions, and I apologize once again. I've been following Dracula and what has been happening, and I really just had wished you all could stay out of it. But I am so happy and grateful for your assistance, because I'm just a simple man, really, and I can follow leads and solve riddles as good as anybody else, but this is even out of my scope, and how I find myself here with you on the same night, I'm afraid is not a good sign. I'm afraid it's probably unfortunate for all of us. Yes, Aurora?
Aurora would like to vibe check Sherlock.
Okay, go ahead. As you vibe check, kind of suss him out, he'll keep talking.
Can I also do a second level detect thoughts on him?
Oh, I rolled a 19 because I have advantage on them.
Yeah, so normally not too great to cast spells on people, as they usually know, but luckily, being Sherlock, he understands the quirkiness of the situation, and he kind of frees himself. And as you do it, and as he sees Aurora kind of looking up and down, he says, fair. It's definitely fair. I would have done the same myself if I had the capabilities. I'm glad that through your travels you have all learned not to trust anyone who walks up to you, even if they have my face. But I can assure you, you will find that it is me, which is why it's rather unfortunate we're all here on this night. Aurora, as you know, through and through, looks like Sherlock, talks like Sherlock, knows everything that Sherlock does. Valdani, he kind of lets you peek a little bit into his mind. You see interactions with him that you've had. You see little bits and pieces of information that only Sherlock would know. It's actually rather impressive. He purposely is giving you proof that it is indeed Sherlock. Like he's thinking actively of things that would prove that it's him, and allowing you to do it.
Okay.
And as he talks, he says, I know Blake has been tugging on the same kind of strings as myself, and I should have brought you in sooner, but I had wished that me and Marcus could have dealt with this and not had any of you involved. I don't want any more deaths to come of anyone, and I don't take this lightly that you're here, but I must agree and share in the knowledge with all of you that there's something beneath our feet, and I came here to dig into it, if you'll join me. Very, very literally, mind you, as he pulls a shovel off of his back.
Yeah.
Valdani gives like a slow blink at that, and then she sees him pulling out the shovel, and she's like, "Oh."
Thought there might be an
literally.
opening to the underground, not just having to dig our way down.
Oh, I don't quite think this is like our underground. I think this is someone has commandeered something that exists beneath the ground here and taken it for their own. And while there is probably a more feasible entrance, I'm sure it was closed off long ago, and we simply don't have the time to find it. I'm sure you've seen something is coming from underground and taking bodies, which means someone has to be under, right?
Mr. Homestead, maybe we doesn't have to dig quite so much, because if you'll recall, I don't exactly have to stay in the air. I can kind of goes in the grounds if you need me to.
I appreciate that.
Idea.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate that, and it is probably a good idea for you to go first if you are comfortable. I'm afraid all of us will have to go together either way, so...
Well, yeah, but at least we don't have to dig like 20 holes. We can just like find the one spot and dig the one.
Oh, it's very, very, very clear here to me, but we can double check as he points over and there's a grave that's just like sunken completely out. He'll say,
Lit.
Good thinking though, to check first. Can you, I'm sorry, just pop down there real quick before I start digging?
Yeah.
Would you like me to just transmute the rock, or maybe even just mold the earth and just move it for us?
Oh no, I would be very careful about where you cast spells, and do not want to alert someone of our presence. Sometimes a good old shovel is better than any gun. That's what my father used to say.
But I'm already invisible. Does that count as doing a spell around them, or
No.
am I good?
Should be fine. I just don't want to go moving any earth. And
Right.
he'll walk over
Right.
and
Okay.
set the shovel in a little bit and let you go down into the grave that he's picked.
Here's a ghost, I guess.
All right.
I can go down 30 feet before I have to be done.
All right, great. Yeah, it does not take that long at all, as it's already kind of sunken in. You make your way down, and since it's sunken, you pop right into a tunnel. And first look, you can kind of see throughout this tunnel, there's kind of mounds of dirt and things like that. There's other smashed things, and it's piled up in certain areas to cover up the fact, so there's not just a hole going straight down into the tunnel. But what you see after you head the opposite way of the dirt piles is this. You find yourself in a catacomb. Don't pay attention to what this wording is on here. It's
okay.
It's just the image, but you see this. You see walls lined with skulls and bones.
Oh, those are skulls. Okay.
Yes.
I thought they were just regular rocks. That's fine. Do I hear any people around or see any evidence that people have recently been here?
Besides, piles of dirt placed rather purposely, and some bits and pieces of smashed coffins and things like that, it doesn't seem like anyone is around the area you're in. So do you pop back up to alert everyone of what you saw?
Yeah, I want to first of all have a very silent freak out at skulls, and then try to identify from this side what's gonna be the least obtrusive for other people to try and dig in.
Okay, great.
And just be this is the place, and go up from there, and then realize that I am invisible and can't point and show them I came up here, so I will become visible again at that point, and just be Mr. Sherlock, sir, and everyone, there's a lot of bones down there, and just all in piles. I don't think that they used all the bodies whole. They're just all down there.
Oh, yes.
Big boy over there.
That is what I had imagined. Long ago, a couple hundred maybe even, there were a series of catacombs that went throughout this area, and they're not really monitored anymore, and people don't really use them in this area anymore.
So those wasn't bones of recent people then?
Oh, not very recent, but
okay.
I had worried that someone had been commandeering the catacombs, and now I'm afraid that seems to be true, so I'll dig real quick here for us.
Yeah, there weren't people down there. I couldn't hear or see anything, so...
Oh, I'm sure we'll find them eventually, but we'll do it together at least, so here we go. And he'll start digging, and he'll allow anyone that has any type of, analog mechanical tool to kind of dig through with him. It doesn't take too long. It's kind of clear to see that these people have been removing things by digging up a little bit, and then they've just been kind of shoddily placing it back to where it looks like you can't see into the catacombs, but very obviously you could tell that it was the earth sinking. And as you get through and you all enter the catacombs through a good enough hole to fit everyone to climb down in, think we should head the opposite way of these piles here. From the looks of it, it looks like they've been starting over here, started further away, and just slowly came back this way. So, I'll lead the way. Anyone need to do anything before we head down this next section? Careful to touch the walls. You don't want to put your hand through a skull.
I would like to cast a spell. Valdani is going to take some time to cast Faithful Hound at 4th level.
Okay.
And there's supposed to be a password that is said unless if a small creature or bigger doesn't say it, then it starts barking. And I'm gonna set that password as, let's go Sherlock.
All right, great.
And I'm gonna keep it at a slight distance. I'm gonna say about 20 feet behind the group, so that nothing can come up from behind us without us knowing.
Okay, great. So that is good. Mechanically, or any buffs or anything like that, everyone feel free to go ahead. And it's very dark and dreary, and kind of really weighing on you guys what could be at the other end of this tunnel or within the catacombs. So feel free to prepare however you see fit. And is everyone ready to continue on?
Oh, and one other thing. The Faithful Hound sees invisible creatures.
Okay, good. All right.
And that's it.
Cool.
Aurora will use one of her sending stones to send a message to Blake, telling them their location, what they have found.
All right, great. So you drop a pin. If I don't come home, this is where I was.
Correct. She would do the same to William.
All right, great. Anyone else?
I would like to wild shape. Are there like specific restrictions on what they can be, or as long as it's a beast? Because there's like a lot of books that added animals into the world.
Yeah, at your level, it depends on what type of druid you are. But
I know what CR I can be. I'm just saying, like, because there's like things from like Guide to Wildemount and stuff that are just beasts.
As long as it's within the CR and your druid class, you can whatever.
I am going to be a giant lynx, which is it's a Nyxborn lynx, and then just because I keep my dark vision, then so
cool. All right.
And then you kind of look like a bigger version of Sir.
Oh yes, that was my entire goal.
Nice.
I'm definitely darker in pattern than he is, because he's like the light tan sphinx, and I'm like dark grays and blacks. But
all right, Alian, anything you need to do?
Looks to Aurora. Yeah. Cast Death Ward on you. Like, yeah, we know the drill.
All right, great. So as you traverse through the catacombs, listening for anything, looking for signs of who's been using these tunnels, Sherlock leading the way. You can tell he kind of starts to pick up on, which way to go, judging footsteps, torch placements, other things like that. And you're walking through the catacombs. So the signs of people start to increase as you go further, and you're probably walking for a good 20, 30 minutes, winding in and out, left, right. There's a couple forks. You probably have no idea what's above you at this point. But after that amount of time, you see a very strange filtering of light at the end of the tunnel that Sherlock has led you through. And it doesn't look like sunlight. Of course, it's still night. Doesn't look like artificial light or firelight. It kind of looks like the moonlight filtering through in a really eerie way. And Sherlock gets to the end of the tunnel, and you see a just big old palm come and just grab Sherlock by the neck and lift him out of the catacombs. And as you see that, you see the bad symbol you've been looking for on the finger of the hand, as Sherlock is just writhing as he's lifted out of the catacombs and out of your sight.
We run, right? Like we're chasing
You have
after.
to go up first. So Aurora will trace the rune on her forehead, and while starting to climb out of the same hole Sherlock has been yoked out of, follow.
Yeah, Offie can go right through it, so she's just gonna rush it.
All right, great. As everyone rushes to action, those of you just joining us, they've been traveling through some catacombs, winding around, and they see kind of an exit of some sort. A hand reaches down and just straight picks Sherlock up with effortlessly out of the catacombs and lifts him out of sight. As you all run and reach the end of the catacombs, you see, of course, standing in front of you, the man that you've been trying to find and have been chasing this whole time. You see Dracula. Standing next to him is someone that none of you have seen in person, and he says something quick to you. What does this person look like, Dev, and what do they say?
So before you is this pretty average height, about maybe 5'8", 5'9", height individual. Fiery red hair, dark, bloody red. And huge gashing, almost like, not necessarily a claw mark, but something that resembles one that takes up almost half of the face diagonally. And he looks at you and says, "I wasn't expecting you to get this far."
All right, great. And
Wow.
as you see standing in front of you, someone who, if anyone has ever heard the description of a certain vampire that was on a certain ship, looks just like that person. You're putting two and two together that the person on that ship was simply posing as Dracula during that time until they were able to bring the true Dracula back. And the Cardinal and Dracula stand in front of you, and as you go to raise arms against these two, Dracula, holding Sherlock, just writhing in his hand, just staring you down in the face, says, that's not how this is going to end tonight. And you see all around you just a ton of night creatures just stand around and fly down from the sky. And they all take Sherlock and head off as you are frozen, knowing that there's absolutely no way that you could win this fight. And that is the end of Season 1 of Sherlock Investigations.
I Good night.
It ended how it started, and I'm real mad. Dev, you.
Dev?
I want to kill something.
You lied right to my face when I was like, hey, I wonder how much longer this is going to go. And you're like, I don't know, I have a lot left. I'm like, what?
All right. I will say this is the end of season 1. This is a cliffhanger. I would say for narrative reasons, it is great to allow a cliffhanger. Technically, you do have your D&D character, bodily autonomy. You could attack this person. Although, if you were to roll any type of insight or perception, you would know, 1, it would likely mean Sherlock's fate immediately if you were to attack, and 2, none of you would probably survive what's standing in front of you. But we will leave those decisions up to season 2, and that will be where we end this session. I just want to say a couple quick things. It was good to do a season 1 kind of cap here, bring some stories back together, and give people a clear motive and direction, because I hope for season 2 we have a clear set schedule that we can go off of. Those of you just joining us tonight, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus for Sherlock Investigations. I allowed some other campaigns to go, and I had some things going on and whatnot, and school started, everything. So I look forward to season 2 when we can start having a set schedule. So that is where I will leave my messages for the night. We can go around the table here. If anyone wants to give any quick thoughts and then do their outros, we can do that, starting with Hyacinth.
Quick thoughts. There's too many thoughts to just have quick thoughts. 1, I was very excited with the night creatures because I put them in my own campaign, so that's a personal thought. But 2, because I did a vampire campaign, I'm just I wanted to do something, and I know there's nothing to do, so I'm But yeah, that's definitely a little bit worse than, well, I guess Gray kind of expected it, but also a little bit worse than he was hoping for, But yeah, so Haya and Baya, Hyacinth. Bye. I don't know. I'm a mess.
All right, Dev.
Yeah, it's me, just casually here. Nothing too, It's been great. This happened, and it was great to just pop back in for a little bit, and maybe, who knows, maybe again in the future. Maybe not.
Do you want to give any of the new viewers a super quick backstory on the other character that you played tonight?
Yeah, Dev, why don't you do that?
Yeah.
Chrissy has given me shit for an entire year. The Cardinal is Dracula's second in command, and many years ago, when a group of adventurers were on a boat to London, he was part of it as a way to distract and divert attention from the real Dracula, who was also making their way to London, posing as said individual. And some people were just a little bit too nosy and almost had their way with him, but he was sneaky and he got away after a big cannonball hit him. And they tried to search for him for years, but some of them are dead now.
Yeah, well,
Some
maybe.
of them are jerky now, right?
No, that was just a joke. It wasn't the real one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe.
This, how things resulted were directly due to characters seeking out certain threads, asking certain questions, investigating certain things. So thank you to all the players for engaging with it. Without it, it would have just been a one shot every time with something spooky. But now you guys dug so deep, you've found yourselves in a bunch of shit. So I hope you enjoy it. And next up is Dungeonistics.
Hello, I'm Dungeonistics. So many thoughts. Wow. I was not expecting tonight to be the finale, or any of that to happen. But yeah, that was fun. I played Valdani. Can't wait to see what season 2 has in store for us. Yeah, that's all I've got.
So you can't mute ads anymore? Thanks. Anyways, sorry for that brief outburst on my side. Just setting up where we're going after this, so stick around. Next is Niffer.
Hi. My first thought was, is that a Castlevania screenshot of the night creatures?
Yeah, so when I said that these things that have been happening in the background and this episode for a couple months are the direct result of player questions and investigations, you can thank Corndog for this glorious idea that fell into my lap. I don't think that they did it on purpose, but...
Very nice. My other thoughts are like, what the heck? Like, we didn't get to hit stuff, and we had a lot of feelings to hit stuff about.
Sometimes,
I'm a little bit sad.
Sometimes you just don't get to hit stuff.
Sometimes you gotta just watch your boss get kidnapped in front of you, and that's fine.
That's how it goes. All
That's
right.
how it goes.
Chrissy Crits.
Okay, Chrissy the player.
Yeah.
Dev, I see you. But that being said, I will say that Chrissy the player, I was interested in that lead, but also having had played in that first game, didn't want to over the table meta game for the rest of the players because I figured that'd be too much not there. So while I was not expecting another fucking mic drop from Dev, I'm kind of stoked to have some sort of Valrin is like in me still, and I still want revenge against how that fight ended. So Chrissy is okay with this. Yeah, no, that was really good. I'm excited for season 2. Hopefully Cole doesn't leave us hanging for too long.
Well, whatever the schedule permits. That is going to do it from us. We had too many thoughts and we were kind of bad at shout outs, but if you're watching on YouTube, please scroll down, check out all of these glorious people. The links will always be in chat. And coming up tomorrow, another show that is very close to finale territory. Harper Investigations will be streaming tomorrow night, and then we have a break for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have kind of stacked October so full that we have a little break in September, but then on Saturday, this is the first we're talking about this out loud. We will have a special episode of the Top Shelf for Carbon Gray in the morning. And then at night, Chrissy will be running another special one-shot of Liminal Horror, which both of those on Saturday are going to be very good for a myriad of reasons. So you should watch both of those on Saturday. And then Sunday, we have the Curious Case of the Murderous Jelly Jar, run by Tyrant. And then, you know, lots of good stuff to look forward to, and the people tomorrow and leading up to that will talk about that most likely on their streams. So thank you to my players. I'm sorry that I gave you the ruse of having an entirely full 3-hour session, but it was important. It was important to how it played out and how things ended. So If there's anything about Sherlock Investigations that I try to teach the players is never expect things to go how they go in other campaigns. And you can always run away. It's always an option. You run away to get stronger and fight another day. So we are going to go raid the good old Sarah Franco, who is streaming right now. A very rare opportunity that we get to go raid one of our players playing games. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you when we see you. Look for the announcement on Twitter whenever it happens.